The hog hype is real here in Arkansas as the Razorbacks gear up to take on Texas A&M tomorrow right here on THV 11. Good afternoon. I'm Amanda Yeager. We are about 24 hours until kickoff, and fans are already taking over Dallas, and that includes the THV 11 crew. Mercedes McKay joining us outside of AT&T Stadium. And Mercedes, you've been catching up with some Razorback fans that are there already, so how excited are they for the game?
Amanda, we weren't exactly sure how many Razorback fans would be here last night and today, but let me tell you this, they are showing up and showing out. We met a few yesterday at Buc-ee's that were heading down to Dallas, and last night a couple even came up to us at dinner. They were decked out in their Razorback gear and they were pumped. They are season ticket holders from Little Rock who never miss a game. Now, we've also caught up with several alumni, even sitting down with former Razorback head coach Frank Broyles' granddaughter, Madison.
His dream was to be with the team that the state was, one and all. And so the only state is Arkansas. And so it just laid a landscape for him to really go in and change the whole dynamic of the entire coaching program and the facilities and all of it combined. And so it has just been such a whirlwind seeing it.
Madison is part of the alumni chapter here in Dallas, and actually every single year they host a golf tournament that raises money for scholarships to give to kids in the Dallas area that are going to U of A. Now, a couple other things that Hogs fans just cannot stop talking about is that excitement around Sam Pittman and, of course, that University of Texas win. Now, Amanda, I have asked every single Razorback fan we've talked to what their predictions are for tomorrow's game, and they all have the Hogs winning, so woo Pick Suey all the way. Make sure you tune in tonight to THV 11 at 5 and 6. I'll have much more on that pride and passion that comes with being a Razorback fan. Also, you don't want to miss at 6:30 our Rally on the Road Hog Zone special. So a lot of fun here from Arlington. Live in Arlington, Mercedes McKay, THV 11 News.
Oh, look at that group of fans. Another group went on their way to Arlington for the big game. Little Rock Tours kicked off this morning's trip to Texas with that hog call you heard there. As you can tell, they are pumped for the game tomorrow, but they do have a little company though. One lonely A&M fan is on the bus. Oh, how awkward. That's hopefully they'll buy him lunch or something just in goodwill. Despite some early trash talk, though, it seems that everybody's getting along just fine so far. But man, to be a fly on the wall watching that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. And I know people are concerned about the weather. How is it going to be? Because you want great weather for a game like that.
And fortunately, there's not going to be any weather concerns at all. If you're traveling to Texas this afternoon, no weather problems. Right now, the temperature is 81 in Dallas. Here's what you can expect if you're going to be doing some tailgating. Temperatures will be on the toasty side tomorrow into the upper 80s to lower 90s. Lots of sun for Texas and also for us here in Arkansas. This morning, though, it was cool once again, even cooler than what we saw yesterday morning. We dropped down to 50 in Little Rock, 48 in Conway, 47 in Russellville. 44 was the low for you folks in Arkadelphia. We have pretty much lots of sun around the region, but we do have some high clouds spilling their way in here from the west. Temperatures warming up into the mid to upper 70s already. So today is going to be a little bit warmer than what we saw out there yesterday. Dew points a little bit higher, but still nothing to complain about. Highs today topping out into the low, maybe mid 80s down to the south. I've got warmer temperatures to talk about going into the weekend, and I'll have that full forecast and also your high school football forecast coming up.
Well, it's 12:04 and police are investigating a mass shooting at a grocery store in a suburb of Memphis that's updated the number of people shot and wounded from 12 to 14. One person was killed when a gunman opened fire on workers and customers yesterday. Janet Shamlian has the latest from Collierville, Tennessee.
Pow, 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 pow. And I mean, everybody was rushing. And I'm trying to find the exit that I don't think he's coming to.
People inside this Collierville Kroger scrambled Thursday after the sound of gunshots. Cell phone video appears to capture a shot and the chaos unfolding at the grocery store.
It's going to be an active shooter.
Police entered the Kroger about 4 minutes after the gunman opened fire.
We need a chest seal and I need a combat clause.
First responders triaged the wounded as customers and employees filed out, with hands raised in the air.
The number of shot is 15 now.
Family identified Olivia King as the one who died in the shooting. She leaves behind 3 adult sons. Police found the alleged shooter near the back of the store, dead from what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
He was a third-party vendor for Kroger.
Employee Bridgenetta Dickerson said as soon as she heard shots, she led customers and co-workers to a hiding spot in the back.
And here he comes right behind us, starts shooting. And he kept on shooting.
An unimaginable explosion of violence for this affluent Memphis suburb.
You'll never think nothing like this right here happening in Collierville. You know what I'm saying? You'll look for it to happen in Memphis or somewhere in Chicago or something. You'll never look for it to happen like right here.
It was just a few months ago, the police chief says, that emergency crews here went through active shooter training, something he says allowed them to respond quickly and effectively. Janet Shamlian, CBS News, Collierville, Tennessee.
And law enforcement sources say the shooting appears to be a case of workplace violence. Turning now to COVID-19 in Arkansas, we continue to see declines in most of our numbers, but that trend comes with a warning from Governor Hutchinson, who said the virus is just unpredictable. 1,540 new cases were reported yesterday. That is lower than last Thursday's number by about 300. Active cases went down by a little more than 200. The vaccination momentum has slowed, with barely 3,000 people getting either partially or fully vaccinated Thursday. And that may be why the governor pointed out to so-called unpredictable elements of the virus and called vaccines the most effective tool. He also said he's ready to get the booster shot now that the CDC has given approval. Nationally, the CDC issued guidance overnight authorizing those booster shots of the Pfizer vaccine. And Natalie Brand is laying out the details for us.
Good morning, everyone.
President Biden says his administration is prepared to roll out Pfizer booster shots to tens of millions of Americans who are now eligible.
That group makes up 60 million Americans who are now eligible for a booster with 6 months after their second shot.
Overnight, CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky signed off on a series of recommendations made by an advisory committee agreeing boosters should be offered to people 65 and up. It will also be available to people 18 and older with underlying health conditions. But in an unusual twist, she overruled the committee, putting back in the recommendation for a third dose to individuals whose jobs might put them at risk, such as healthcare workers.
People who have significant exposure need to be protected from the virus. And so she did the right thing. It's in line with what the FDA had recommended. So it's certainly not radical, but it makes sense, and I agree.
While the initial booster rollout is more narrow than the White House anticipated, federal health advisors have noted they will assess new data as it comes in. Moderna has submitted data to the FDA seeking permission for a booster shot at half the dose of its first 2 shots. Johnson & Johnson is expected to submit data soon.
Our doctors and scientists are working day and night to analyze the data from those 2 organizations on whether and when you need a booster shot.
Meanwhile, the president urged unvaccinated Americans to get their first shots.
The unvaccinated overcrowd our hospitals, overrunning emergency rooms and intensive care units.
About 25% of Americans who are eligible to be vaccinated have yet to get their first dose. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, the White House.
Johnson & Johnson says it has done trials on giving a second shot of its vaccine, but it has not yet submitted that data to the FDA for approval. Cyclists from all over are gearing up for the Big Dam Bridge 100 this weekend. But this year, a notable figure who helped make the event a reality will be missing from that ride. Judy Lansky passed away from a rare form of cancer this past year, but her legacy on the cycling community in Arkansas lives on.
It's like riding down the street in a lawn chair with your feet stretched out in front of you pedaling. And we took that all over the world.
Judy Lansky and her husband Ken were quite the pair, traveling together in this tandem recumbent bike to the ends of the earth.
I thought of her as my 1965 Thunderbird because the advertising promotion for the 1965 Ford Thunderbird was unique in all the world. And Judy was unique in all the world.
While they traveled all over the world, Judy's impact was felt most evidently right here at home.
There wouldn't be a Big Dam Bridge 100 without Ken and Judy. I mean, that's as plain as I can put it, really. It was their idea. They were the one who laid all the groundwork. They hired the first director.
Peggy Muncy, a fellow cyclist and a dear friend of Judy.
She was so much fun, very, very positive, just full of ideas, always wanting to see things happen that could include a lot of people, especially with around the bridge.
Judy and Ken, the first co-chairs of the Big Dam Bridge Foundation.
They did everything together, and they're responsible for most everything that's happening this weekend.
Both seasoned attorneys, pivotal in the creation of an organization advocating for cyclists beyond the Big Dam Bridge, one that's still making an impact today.
She was also a co-founder of an organization called Bicycle Advocacy of Central Arkansas, known as BACA. And much of what you see and take for granted if you ride a bike around here by way of trails or other amenities, bicycle amenities, stem from the work she did with BACA.
So this year, as tires hit the pavement, pedals spin, and excitement and joy fill the city, Ken hopes people remember it's all because of legacies, including the lasting legacy of his beloved wife, Judy Lansky.
And Ken said that all riders can honor Judy's legacy by making a contribution to Bicycle Advocacy of Central Arkansas. You can find those details on thv-at-noon.com.